What's up, everyone? Chad Winstead here with the Visual Flow and SLR Lounge Facebook groups, and we are live with a very special friend of mine. We've got Jared Gant here. What's up, Jared?
Hey, hey, what's going on, Chad? Good to be with you.
Good to be with you, man. Long time no chat. I feel like we haven't spoken much recently, man. Been busy, and how's life for you?
Life is awesome. Of course, we're still dealing with COVID and, the slowness that comes with that. But no, overall, life is really good. We have good health and still staying relatively busy. And so, yeah, I can't complain.
Awesome, man. Anything new or exciting going on with weddings or anything like that,
New and exciting.
or in your personal life?
Um, Goodness. Well, I am very excited for the holiday season.
Yeah.
This is a time of year that I used to like always, I don't know, I used to always struggle through the holidays and everything. And now that my kids are getting to an age where it's magical for them, it's just such a fun time. So we just set up all of our Christmas decorations just a little bit ago, and we have family that lives just around the block that's gonna come over for dinner here for Thanksgiving, and the kids are just starting to get really excited. So that's been a lot of fun.
Awesome, man. Well, the reason that everybody's here is they want to see us edit some photos. So we're going to get to that in just a moment. But I just wanted to shout out and say thank you for joining us today. Please drop in the comments where you're from. Let's go ahead and get that comment section flowing. Uh, Tell us where you're tuning in from. Tell us who you think the better editor is. Um,
So,
and if,
Chad, before we do this, I want to make sure that I'm sharing it in the SLR Lounge group. So remind me
yeah,
how I need to be how to do that.
no worries. Just
Do I need to go into the V?
go over to that live feed in the Visual Flow group and just share that
Okay,
link from there, and you'll be able to share it into the other groups. Just say share to group, and that
okay,
should
cool,
be
cool.
all you need because we are public right now, so
Let
anybody
me
could
find
should be
that.
able to see us.
Okay, let me get in there. All right, cool. I think I have found it. Awesome. Let me share this
Perfect,
to group. Okay, thank you, thank you.
awesome, man. And Jason says the question is a trap. Jason, make sure you pay close attention so we can teach you how to edit. Okay. I know that
Right.
you don't really know how to yet, but we're here for you. Okay.
Maybe the better question is, which is the worst editor?
Oh man, good stuff. Good stuff. Thanks for tuning in,
I mean,
Jason. We've got 8 or 9 viewers so far. So if you guys are out there, make sure you comment, tell us where you're from. Also in the comment section or in the about section of this live video, make sure you click on that link that says allow your name to be displayed by Ecamm Live. That way we can see your comments come through and we can put them on the screen and get all fancy and fun. All right. So as
cool.
the people come in, are you ready to get started? Share some of our Lightroom tips and all of that fun
Yes,
stuff.
I'm going to try to keep an eye on comments on all three of the SLR Lounge groups. So I'm
Perfect.
just getting all those pulled up so I can toggle between the different groups. But yeah, no,
Awesome.
it looks good. I'm ready to rock and roll. We got some awesome photos submitted by you guys, by the members in Visual Flow and in the different SLR Lounge groups. So I'm super stoked to see what you guys have submitted.
Awesome. Awesome. Aaron says that he is from southern Minnesota.
Hey,
And we've got Ruben
Aaron.
Chan in here. He says hello. We got Kyle from Wallace, North Carolina, not too far from me.
Yeah, our good
Perfect.
buddy
Perfect.
Jason in here.
Awesome. Well, cool deal. Without further ado, let's flip over to Lightroom and get to editing. Let's give the people what they came to see. They didn't come to see our ugly mugs. Um,
Cool.
so the very
Speak
first
for
image
yourself.
that we have, and Jared, I'm gonna let you share your screen first. Okay, so I've got you ready to
All
go
right.
here. But the first image is from an amazingly talented and awesome human by the name of Jason Benson. All right, so Jared, you've got your Lightroom pulled up here. Check out this
And it's
awesome shot
sharing,
by
right?
Jason. Yeah, yeah, you're
This
good.
is a wrap. I'm good. Okay. We ready to start this?
I'm ready, man. So what we're gonna do is we have a little timer up here in the top. So basically, what we're gonna do is each image we come up to, we're gonna set a timer. So I say for this one, what do you think? 2 minutes on this one?
This is a clean shot. I don't know what's going to take much, to be honest.
Yeah,
But yeah,
I don't
what
either.
you give me the restrictions. I bet we could do this in like a minute, to be very
Let's
honest.
do it for a
But
minute. The man has
you
spoken.
want
We're
to do
gonna
one
do a
minute?
minute. 1 minute.
Okay,
Let's show off these presets. All right, you ready? On
I'm ready.
3, 2, 1, go.
Let's do this. Oh, that is not what I meant to do. Great way to start. So I'm going to go with the Crush HDR Natural as my first. Then I'm going to go in here. I'm going to level this as best I can. And I think I'm going to crop out to right there. Build some symmetry.
I'm just watching what you do and copying everything you're doing. So
Yeah, I mean that's typically the best way to go about it. I'm gonna go down. So I did the natural crush. Now I'm gonna go down to natural and color. I'm going to put that around just this individual. 100% feather.
Seconds.
Ooh. All right.
5,
And
4,
brush.
3, 2,
Erase.
and 1. All right.
There we go.
We are done. Awesome, man. Looks awesome. I love the blues. Crush really brings out the blues in this one, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, all I did, like I said, Crush, single click, HDR. I went with that just because there's a ton of vibrancy and color in this photo. And then after that, I just created a radial filter around the subject right there in the middle, and then just pulled down the exposure on that radial filter. I did the natural color from the VFlow toolkit, and then just pulled down the exposure about a half a stop or so. I didn't watch it real carefully, but I think it was about a half a stop. And then I erased the radial on the guy that's right here, just so we could make sure we see him and he's not too dark, and leveled things out. And that was about it. I mean, really, really straightforward. It didn't require much. There was no light stand or anything like that we were having to work with. I did crop. You'll see I cropped the left side out just a little bit, just to create some better symmetry, I think.
Perfect, man. Looks awesome. You and I pretty much had the same exact crop here, so I'm going to switch over to my screen. Actually, can you do a before and after real quick on yours?
Yeah, for sure. Let me pull this back up. So here's before, here's after.
Awesome, man. Looks good, looks good. So I basically went with something very, very similar as far as a crop composition goes, but I mixed it up because I knew, I glanced over and saw that you were keeping the colors and everything relatively simple. So I just wanted to see or show you a fun little trick. And I basically turned the blues purple, obviously. So I just simply went down here to the HSL panel and cranked up the blue all the way to where it turned the colors purple. I didn't get fancy with the radial filter like Jared did. That was a really good tip and really way to make that guy stand out a little bit more there, because you kind of lose him in that pillar, which is kind of a fun little hidden gem of this shot. Whereas our focus is more right here on the center. But just amazing shot. Didn't need much, but even the shots that don't need much, you can play around with them and get some unique looks. Just by
yeah, Jason, where was this photo taken? I wanna go find this place. This is a really cool place. We'll see if he chimes in.
Yeah, let's see if he's watching. Don't see any comments yet, but he's watching. So tell us who you think won the first edit. You want to make this a competition, Jared? Huh? Can we get some votes in?
Keep in mind that Chad chose his edit after he saw what I was doing to mine. I think that's a little bit cheating. Just gonna throw that out there.
You get to watch me edit while you edit next. So, all right, we are going to go to the next image. This one was also shot by Jason. Jason is getting 2 images here right off the bat, just because this one was really cool. And let's see, we got some comments in. Ruben says, cheers from Playa del Carmen. Jason says that's the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi. Awesome. Thank you, Jason.
I think Abu Dhabi is what that
is. Oh, man. I was a little distracted.
Something like that.
All right.
I heard you say, if I just say this real quickly, no one will know if I said it right or not.
Abu Dhabi. Oh, starting it off
Cool.
great
And
today.
we are looking at the photo of the girl, right, with the split color.
Yes, yes. So we're
Cool.
switching it up. We're going to that photo, and I'm going to share my screen to start with. And let's get the timer going here. What do you think? 1 or 2 minutes on this one?
Um, let's do a minute and a half. Let's
Minute
split the
and a
difference.
half. All right, guys. So without further ado, let's count it down. We're going to go 3, 2, 1, and go. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stare at it a little bit longer. Um, I'm going to stick with Crush, I think, on these. It might bring out the colors a little bit too much. So let's see. I'm going to come back down to pastel. I can't talk today, Jared. So
Ooh.
we're going to go with, let's see what the oversaturated look gives us.
Do you use the pastels a lot?
I don't. I'm kind of more of a modern and Crush person, but I have been playing around with mood a lot, so I'm just going to kind of bounce around here and just find that, because this image doesn't need much, but I want to find the perfect kind of base soft preset for it. And I think right now I'm just kind of leaning more towards modern soft light. And I might actually like the composition, crop it in just a little bit. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to mix it up here. I'm going to go to the develop tweaks and leaks on this one, okay? So I'm going to get out of the visual flows and go to the develop. We're going to do a radial filter here, warm pink. And we're going to throw that over here on this side. We're going to invert that, and then we're going to do let's go with the white and see if I can choose. I'm going to invert that layer as well. And I'm going to see if I can make that a little bit more blue with just the color temperature here. And we are coming up on a minute and a half, and we are done. All right.
Done.
So yeah, just use those radial filters with the tweaks and leaks to kind of bring out the colors a little bit more as far as a flare goes. So over on the right-hand side, I went with that warm pink flare, and then on the left-hand side, I went with the blue flare. Ideally, I would like to spend maybe another 15 seconds or so with those and just kind of brighten them up a little bit more. Give that kind of cool flare action, but this image didn't need much. I felt like Crush brought out the color a little bit too much, so I stuck with modern soft light for this one. And I didn't even change the white balance. I thought it was pretty cool and moody the way it is. So that's my before and after. Jared, what you got?
All right. Are you sharing mine?
I am.
I started working on the eyes, but then you cut me off when I wasn't all the way finished with them. So they're a little bit halfway baked, but I actually pulled from the cropped in, of course, from the right side. I pulled a bit of a gradual filter and kind of darkened and brought those pinks out just a little bit on that right hand side. And then I did a radial burn around her face and just darken the area all around it. And then I went in to just kind of start working on her eyes and kind of where the attention of the viewer is going to go. But we got cut off halfway through, so I didn't get to quite finish those. So all I've done right now is just done the eye pop, and you can see like I didn't quite brush it exactly where it needed to be. A little bit of overflow there, but with, again, another 15 seconds, I think I could have cleaned that up. And really what I was doing is I didn't want the blue and the magentas or the pinks to be too strong in the whites of her eyes. I want her whites of her eyes to still look pretty vibrant and pretty natural. And if I had a few more seconds, I would have worked on the color of her eyes just a little bit more, and then maybe worked on where the magentas and the blues meet, just to make that a little bit of a softer transition.
Okay. Well, just remember who picked a minute and a half on that one. Okay.
Yeah, that was totally me.
So
Oh,
that was
and
totally
you guys, and I started with Crush. I actually did start with Crush Flash. Is actually what I started with.
perfect. Did you do the before and after real quick?
Yep. So
There we
before, after.
Cool.
Yeah, still. I wish the color was a little bit more. The fade was a little bit more gradual. But
Right.
cool.
Cool deal. I think we lost your camera feed, by the way. I see your screen feed, but I think we lost your camera feed.
Let's make sure. Let's see what's going on here.
So I'll give you a second to get that popped back up here. So awesome edits and really digging it so far. We're not getting any comments, Jared. We need more comments. Whose edit was your favorite on that last one? And Jason, if you're tuning in, say hi. How about that? Just say hi.
Is my video feed still dead?
Yeah, I'm still showing a black
Yeah, it
screen
is.
on yours.
Yeah, let me go double check and see what's going on here.
Okay, cool deal. So our next photo is by our lovely friend and Visual Flow ambassador, Linda Wells. So Linda, hope you're doing well, and I hope you're watching. And yeah, let's pull this up here while Jared is getting his screen back. Oh, we've got Jared again. Hello, Jared.
Good, good, good.
Cool deal, man. All right, you want to share your screen and show us how you would edit Linda's shot here? And Brittany says
Oh
that she
man.
loves when we do these. So thank you, Brittany, for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks, Brittany. All
Perfect.
right.
All right. So I
You're giving
got
me
you.
the tough one. This is a cool shot. This is a unique, this is going to be a tough edit. Okay. Ready?
Yeah, how many minutes? To go in 2 minutes?
You decide.
Let's
You
go two
decide.
minutes on this one.
Okay.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, go.
All right. Let me go with. So I'm starting out with the Crush Flash preset is where I'm going with that. Oh man, I gotta think about this one for just a few minutes. If I had more time, I would work on the line going through her face, but I'm a little bit hesitant to work on that because I think then I will spend all my time there. Let's drop and pull these blues down even more.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed. This shot is absolutely awesome. But that little bit of white line going right through her eye is kind of
Gonna be.
pulling at my my eye.
Are you working on that or no?
I'm not telling you what I'm working on.
Yeah, I thought that's what you were gonna say.
I'm cheating. I'm watching what you're working on.
Yeah, you troublemaker.
You know, I like to bend the rules a little bit. Where we're going, there are no rules. All right, we're coming up on a minute and a half. So we got about 30 seconds remaining.
Cool.
Oh, I just launched my mouse.
Nice work.
Thank you.
Keep doing that, dude. That totally helps.
All right, 10 seconds, man. 10 seconds. And we are done. Go ahead and finish that brush if you'd like.
Oh man, I feel like this one has so much potential, but I don't feel like it's a real easy Lightroom edit. At least for me, it wouldn't be. This would be something that I would really want to work hard on trying to clone that out. But with 2 minutes and Lightroom only, I wasn't going to attempt it. So I didn't even mess with the cloning. I just left that as is. And what I really focused on here was getting the strong blues in the background and making sure the silhouette of who I'm assuming is the makeup artist was really strong, and making sure we could see the girl getting her makeup done really clearly. So how I did that is I started out with the Crush Flash preset. Hey, I still hear clicking over there. What's going on?
I'm not clicking anything. You're hearing things.
Hold on. What's going on, Chad? Are you cheating?
No, I'm clicking on comments.
Oh, right. did it? I'm pretty sure we have a handful of people watching that definitely heard those clickings as well. Anyways, and then
you can hear what
I
you
did a
want to hear, but
I did a radial. Oh, you got to stop the timer. Did a radial around the who I assume is the bride, and just kind of pulled those down. And then I worked on the dodging and burning around the makeup artist, which again you can see it's kind of half baked right now. I needed to clean that up. But yeah, that's where I ended. Let's see how awesome yours turned out. Let's see what magic you made.
All right, man. So I went with a black and white approach to this one. I knew,
Good call.
You know, the crush looks amazing with the blues and the skies and everything, but I wanted to get straight to the point and eliminating that line kind of going through her face. So I
Uh-huh.
basically did a black and white because I feel like it works on this image as well, where the highlights are. The highlights are on her
Uh-huh.
face, and then right here on the building. I would have also liked to have about 15 more seconds to burn this down right here with the highlights. Um, and I'll just show you what I'm talking about here. If I come in here with a burn highlights brush from that visual flow
And what are you talking
retouching
about? You had at
pack,
least 15 more seconds of clicking that I heard.
I wasn't editing. I'm trying to run a live video over here too, man. So this is basically what I'm talking about, burning down those highlights right there. That's what I didn't get to yet. I spent probably about 45 seconds basically removing that line. So you can see right here with these little dots, I did quite a few spot removal tools to be able to get that done in Lightroom pretty quickly. So what I'm doing is I'm
Yeah.
coming over here and I'm clicking and using the hill brush, and I usually have it feathered to about anywhere from 25 to 50 in this range. And you can see what I'm doing here is I'm pulling from various
Right.
parts to kind of fill in and make it look, still natural. And it's tough right there through her eye in Lightroom to get
Through her
that.
eyelash. Yep.
Yeah, through that eyelash. You really have to kind of play around with it. But the only other thing I did is I burned out that parking lot in the background. I did get to do that before I burned the highlights there. So that's pretty much it. I cropped in just a little bit, and here's the before
Love it.
and the after. So you can see where I burned down the building as well, in addition to that parking lot.
Yeah, yeah, I dig it. Hey, Brittany asked, how long do you typically spend editing a picture? I always find that I'm never truly happy. There is always something else to do. So Brittany, I'll just speak for myself. Um, uh, when I am editing photos, and as you are developing kind of your flow, your workflow, you're going to notice that some photos take a single click and a quick little crop and rebalance, and that's it. And it maybe takes 10 seconds is all. You get some photos that are so clean that just a single universal preset is all that they take. And then you'll get some like this, where as the artist, you had something in mind, you had a vision, I would imagine, when you click that button, and it's going to take you a little bit more time to make that vision come true. And that can vary greatly. I mean, something like this could take 5-10 minutes, and while other photos in the same series might only take a few seconds. My ultimate goal, though, is the overall duration of the entire edit. So say I'm editing 500 photos from a wedding. Rather than kind of try to pace myself on an individual photo, I try to pace myself over the entirety of the wedding and just make sure that that is more reasonable. What about you, Chad? How long do you typically spend, and what are your thoughts on that
Yeah,
question?
I mean, weddings and portraits and all that stuff is going to vary in how much time I'm spending. Weddings, we've got 1,000 photos to go through, so for the most part, we try to get everything right in camera, and everything just for the most part, like detail shots and all of that stuff from the wedding day. Certain candid moments literally can just be a one-click preset for us, and we're done, and that's all we
Mm-hmm.
need. So for the most part, I'll spend maybe a couple of seconds on those detail images or certain candid shots, just making sure I have the right preset applied and the white balance is correct. So 5 to 10 seconds on those, honestly. And then typically there's about 100 to 300 photos from a wedding day where we're spending a little bit more time fine tuning, tweaking the color a little bit more, dodging the burning, just kind of really, honing in on our style as far as editing goes. So typically those are the 300 or so images that make it into their slideshow and are kind of like the highlights of the day, while the rest still get edited but aren't edited to the same extent, so to cut down on time. With portraits and things like that, it depends. Sometimes I'm editing
Completely different.
um, sometimes I'm editing, like, let's say a family session or something like that, where we only have about 25 images, and I'll spend, uh, 2 to 3 minutes on each photo, if not longer, just kind of fine tuning and making everything perfect. So it really depends for us on the session and all of that. Jared, I think
Yeah.
your camera went out again. I don't know if you saw that or not.
I don't know what's going on. So I'm using this cam link for the first time,
I got you.
and I don't know what's happening. I just shut the camera back off and back on, and it seems to fix the feed.
Okay.
But I have a dummy battery in there that should be keeping it live.
Right.
There we go.
There you go.
Maybe.
So
Oh, I probably need to go in my camera settings and adjust the sleep mode. I think I probably have it to
it's going
sleep
to sleep on
after.
you.
Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is.
So
Um,
we says awesome guys. We were fearless, and then we've got Hector. And Hector asked, is there a go-to preset that you mainly use? So what's your go-to preset?
So, great question, Hector. I import with the modern HDR. That's what I'm importing all of my images in with to get kind of my initial eyes on them. And then based off of that, I am fluctuating between the modern and the crush depending on the overall contrast of the scene and the overall color that I'm trying to pull from the scene. I find that modern is much more of a neutral, universally well-rounded edit, whereas the crush is more of a stylized edit that fits my style. But there are definitely certain images that have a certain level of contrast and things like that where the crush crushes them almost too much, and then I'm spending all this time with a local decrush brush to bring it back to what it would have looked like with just the neutral.
Right, right. Yeah, same thing. I use the Visual Flow Modern Soft Light as my import preset. So I was just going to show you real quick, just for anybody that doesn't know. I'm going to bounce over here to mine. And what we're talking about is using an import preset. If you come over here into the library, you click import. When you're pulling in your photos, if you come over here on the right, you can click apply during import. You can actually come in here and select a preset to apply during import. So I can apply that modern soft light. As soon as I click import, once all my photos are loaded in, they already have that preset applied. That's one less click that I have to do. And that's kind of what I use as our import standard preset, is that soft light. So great questions, guys. Keep them coming. Let's move on to the next photo. So the next photo is from Joss and Tree. We had Joss and Tree on last week for a live edit. Let's see, is it my turn now?
Yeah, I think so.
I believe it is. All right, so let me get it pulled up here. And for this photo, how about we stick with 2 minutes? Does that work for you?
Okay. Yeah, that totally works.
All right, so let me come over here and start the timer in 3, 2, 1, and go. All right, so I love colorful dancing shots. So what I'm gonna do is come over here. The first thing I thought of when I saw this actually was black and white, but I'm actually going to do the hard light, because the hard light preset, we've actually got some harsh highlights here on our bride. So I'm going to do the hard light, and then I'm just going to pull up the exposure just a little bit to bring out a little bit more detail in everybody else around us. The very next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go ahead, I'm going to come back to color here in just a second, but I'm going to come down here and show you guys one of my favorite brushes that we actually talked about with Josh and Tree, is the Burn Blackout brush. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to decrease the flow of this brush to about 20. Okay, so now I'm going to come over here and kind of loosely brush with this Burn Blackout brush all around, back behind our subjects, and I want to bring the focus literally only to our bride and groom, the people that are dancing or singing around them, and eliminate all those extra highlights that we don't want in the shot. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm actually going to increase the flow a little bit. It's not, there we go. That was a little bit too low on the flow. Okay, so I'm going to come around. I'm trying to figure out if I want to keep that cake in the shot, Jared. I've only got 30 seconds.
Better decide quickly, bro.
This is not good. I need to get that out. Let's do this. And I'm going to move that spot removal tool around a little bit. And now what I'm going to do, actually probably do this right here and crop all that out. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got 10 seconds, Jared, 10 seconds. And I'm going to make a last minute decision because I don't have time to mess around with the color. So what we're going to do is go black and white, and my computer's bogging down.
Yeah, you would go black and white.
And I'm going to bring the highlights down just a little bit. And no, stay down. All right, are you done with yours?
Yeah, I can be done.
All right. 2 minutes.
You ask if you're done. It's these 2-minute things. It's like, am I really done?
Yeah, we're really not done. There's still a little bit more that I would do to this image, but this is a good starting point of kind of what I'm trying to go for here. So you can see I cropped it in to eliminate some distractions, to get rid of that exit sign, and then I used that Burn Blackout brush all around them. If I had a little bit more time, I'd come in here and just clean up some of the little speckles and kind of really pull in the focus. So that's not what I just made 2 heads from that one guy. Let's not do that. But just come in
I
here and
think you
clean out
should do
those
that.
little speckles, and I would probably actually dodge the cake back in just a little bit, personally. And Jared, what do you have? Oh, let me show you before
So
and
I
after
was
real quick. Hold on. Sorry. Before and then after.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Here's mine. Mine's very similar, I think, to the steps that you were taking, but I kept it in color, just because I felt like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, I kept it in color. I think if I was to switch it over to black and white, we would have come up with a very similar edit. But again, I burned down as much of the background as I could with that time, and then did actual a radial burn as well, right around who I presume are the bride and groom. I did a little bit of a crop just to, again, draw your focus in towards the main couple. And so you're just, again, getting that attention right on them. If I had a little bit more time, I would probably use that decrush brush a
Yep.
little bit and work on the skin tones just a teeny bit. They're just a little bit harsh, especially on the bride. But just with a few seconds with that decrush. Let me show you which is, by the way, if you're using the crush preset, this decrush skin tool is almost a prerequisite. Like, it's almost something that you got to use, because the crush presets are going to oftentimes be too harsh on the skin tones. And so I use that on a lot of my photos just to make sure that that they look how I want them. I created a second one that's called Decrush Lift, which is kind of a combination of the Decrush and the Dodge and Lift brush. And I tend to use that quite frequently as well.
Very cool.
So I would have probably worked with that just a little bit more.
So that's just kind of like a dodge a little bit as well. So it's
Yeah,
decrushing
I
and
mean,
then
it's basically
dodging.
a decrush with a slight dodge. Yeah. So here I
Awesome.
can show you exactly what it is. So the decrush skin um, is with the dehaze and the texture, and the saturations drop just a little bit. And my decrush lift is the same thing, but it's pulling down the contrast and increasing the highlights and the exposure
Right.
just a little bit there. So again, it's almost like that quick dodge and lift brush and the decrush skin brush mixed together.
That's awesome. Yeah, ideally, I would like to keep this one in color. I think the way the suits are, and
Mm-hmm.
the little bit of the little hints of green in there, um, I think this one's definitely a good color image. Black and
Yeah,
white's black and white's drama, but the color on this one really pops.
for sure, for sure. And like I said, if I had
Yeah.
unlimited time, I would really work around and burn down all of this background
Yeah.
nonsense that is just just distracting. I would, again, probably do that blackout, which is huge, or I would just do one of these type of things.
Perfect. Perfect.
But once you start doing that, you have to start then working on the contrast on these other people's faces, right? Like that guy in the
Yeah.
back's kind of split. I'd probably try to pull those shadows off his face, etc.
Awesome, man. All right. Well, while we have you here, let's just leave your screen pulled up, and we're gonna switch to the next image. This was from Dino. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Dino. Yep. Dino. Thank you for submitting this image. This is very lovely. Let's
Mm.
see. What I know what you're gonna do. I have a feeling
Yeah.
I know what you're gonna do.
Oh man,
Um,
we've edited a lot together and worked together a lot.
right.
So it would almost be fun for you to just predict exactly what I'm gonna do and see how accurate you
All
are.
right. Well, I'm gonna give you 1 minute, and what I'm gonna do is I'm literally going to commentate while you edit. How about that?
Okay, let's do it.
All right. So in three, two, and one. So Jared is going to go with the hard light crush preset. And the reason he's doing that is because
Hold
crush
on,
brings out
I'm
the
laughing here
blues.
already.
Crush
Okay,
brings
sorry,
out the
keep going.
blues, and the hard light helps eliminate that harsh sunlight on the couple's face there. And then what he's going to do is he's going to use a radial burn filter, and he's going to bring down that attention right to the bride's face, and he's going to feather it out just a little bit to soften those edges and kind of bring a more natural vignette down to the bride. And then let's see what he's going to do
This is
next. He's
unhealthy.
got 30 seconds. So he's going to bring up the exposure, I think, just a tiny bit on the overall image. But no, first he's going to go a little bit of a decrush brush. He wants to eliminate some of that orangeness on the skin. And he only has 10 seconds left, so he better hurry up and make his final decision. So there's that exposure I told you
Done.
about. I called it. I called it. All right, and he's got 5 seconds to spare. Perfect.
There you go.
All right, man. That looks good. Looks real good. Thank you for submitting this. I'm going to show you my edit because I was too busy commentating the whole time. So I'm just going to mix it up, and I'm going to throw mood hard light on this one real quick. Okay. So
I have yet to play with the mood presets. I need to really dive into those a little bit more.
you know what? I'm going to bring down the exposure just a little bit in this one, and I'm going to come over with the quick dodge and lift. And then I'm going to just brighten her up a little smidge, just a little bit. And you know what? I think I'm done. Looks pretty cool in mood, right? Looks very kind of cinematic almost. I'm digging it. It's not our typical style, but I'm digging it.
Yeah. So if you were to edit this yourself, would you have typically done something more like probably use the hard crush or something similar to that?
Yeah, I probably definitely would go with hard light crush, just like you did.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what it looks like just with one click after I did the dodge and the burn. Looks awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So if y'all are watching, tell us in the comments which is your favorite. Do you like the more moody edit on this one, or do you like the crush edit on this one? And let's move on to our next image while we're doing that. So this one is from Visual Flow Ambassador Elizabeth Lloyd.
Ooh, I dig this one.
Elizabeth is a favorite of mine. And for some reason it's pulling up as a JPEG, even though I thought she sent a DNG.
It is a JPEG.
I'm not sure what happened there. But that's okay, because we can still use the tools on that. All right. So are you ready on this one? We're just moving right.
Yeah, 1 second. I was just turning my camera back on. It looked like I lost camera feed. There we go.
Cool.
Yeah, ready rock and roll. How much time are we giving ourselves on this one?
Honestly, just another minute, I think. What you think? One click and done almost, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be,
Let's do a
for sure.
Minute and a half. All right. Ready?
Okay.
3, 2, and 1. Go.
Boom.
All right. I'm going to stick with modern on this one. Okay, so I'm going to go HDR. And I'm going to go HDR to pull down the highlights a little bit and bring up those shadows. So, honestly, that got us pretty close right there. This one's going to be a little bit trickier of a white balance because it's JPEG. So, I'm going to use that white balance tool and select on her dress there because that's pretty neutral. There we go, that's a little bit better. And then my next move, I'm going to do a radial burn, and I'm going to do burn highlights. And I'm just going to go right over them. And I'm actually going to hold the Option key. There we go, hold the Option key. And that brings up these little arrows here. And I'm going to drag back to the left to kind of decrease this just a little bit. That's a little bit too much of a burn. All right, so we got 30 seconds left. And that's where I'm at right now with just HDR natural and the burn highlights. The only other thing I would change is maybe to bring a little bit of emphasis to the little bokeh that we have over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here, and just for the sake of time, I'm going to grab the nature and color brush, and I'm going to brush it over this this bokeh here to bring a little bit of color out there, and then I'm also going to bring out some color on the arbor there. And we are done. Jared, how you doing? You done?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, you said time's up, so
Perfect.
I don't cheat.
There's my before and there's my after using the modern HDR natural. And Jared, I'm gonna switch over to you.
Yeah. So I did the crush soft light, and then I pulled down the blues to just make them really crunchy, really strong and vibrant blues, and then I did some dodging on their faces just to pull out their expressions and their skin tones. just so you could see them a little bit more clearly. I was a little sloppy, I feel like, with with that dodging on their skin tones. I wish. Actually, I'm just going to do it right now. I'm gonna work on that just a little bit more, but I wish I had just a few more seconds. But a key thing that people might not know to talk about when you are brushing on a very specific spot, like someone's face like this, when you have a real distinctive background, always try out the auto mask and see how that works for you. Since I had very little time here, that is what I did. And if you'll see my overlay, you can see that it's pretty darn precise. With the groom in particular, with the bride, you can see it followed their skin really well. So just another tip, if you guys aren't aware of the auto mask, it's a strong tool that I use every time I'm editing.
Yeah, that's great, and it's you have the range mask down there where you can select the colors and luminance and all that, but the auto mask does a really good job sometimes on contrasting colors. So I think that's a perfect time to use that. So good job there.
Mhm.
Awesome, man. Well, how's everybody doing? We're still doing good. Are you still
Let's
alive
double
out
check.
there? Drop some
And
comments, guys. Let's see what your favorite edits are and all that. We're gonna move right along here and go to Ray's photo. You ready for that one?
oh, am
We
I
have
ready for
Tree
this one?
Freak.
Let's like, yeah, no, it's good. I'm just looking at this one. There's a lot going on here.
There's a lot
Just got to
going on.
think
So
about it for a minute.
I'm gonna pull up your screen here. We're gonna watch you edit this one, okay? So this Ray, if you're watching, tell us where this was shot. This is a really cool looking venue. I don't recognize this one. So Ray actually,
So, Chad, did you stack these in a particular order? Because I'm just feeling like you did.
no, not at all. It's just whatever
I'm
Lightroom told me, and
just
I renamed
messing.
them. That was it.
I'm just messing with you. Cool. All right, let's do this.
All right, I'm gonna give you. Let's go. You want to go 3 minutes on this one?
Um, sure, we can
I
do
feel
that.
like this one we can get really fun with this one. So let's do 3 minutes, and I'm gonna press
Okay.
play on the stopwatch in three, two, and one.
All right. So first I'm going to go to the crush oversaturated. Just going to take a look at that and see what I think. I think I like that. Then I'm going to go over to my transform. I'm going to draw some hard lines and just straighten out this room a little bit and
Quit
make
copying me.
it. Is that what you're doing?
That's exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Straighten out that room just a little bit. And I need to make a little bit more adjustment here. Once I've done that, then I'm going to crop in and remove the edges that I cropped out. Come on. And I'm going to go to the top of that ceiling line. About right there. I'm working with symmetry. So I'm watching these little light posts on either side, and I'm working with those as well, just trying to balance the symmetry. All right, that is how that landed. I feel like that's still a little bit off.
Were you doing guided or did you do the auto? I'm just curious.
I guided it, but I probably should have done the auto because it was giving me a little bit of issues. All right, now I'm going to go back to my basic universals, and I'm going to drop my shadows. My thought in this is I kind of want to lose the guests and just draw the attention on the couple. So I am increasing my highlights and dropping my shadows, and I'm going to pull up my contrast as well. Now that I've done that, I'm going to do a little bit of dodging on the couple and on the fog that's around the ground. So I'm going to do one brush on the couple. I'm going to do a second one on the ground. The one that I'm doing on the ground, gosh, I'm getting a lot of delay. I'm wondering if my wife is streaming online downstairs.
Watching the YouTube.
Well, she has probably, probably working with a client. But I can't get this to move. Uh-oh. Do you see what's happening on my side?
You just went dark on me.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Lightroom's not playing friendly right now. Do you guys ever get that when that happens? Like when Lightroom just completely starts acting up? I,
But
I have such a love-hate relationship with Lightroom.
I
Sometimes
thought you
it
had a
works perfectly.
supercomputer.
I have a supercomputer. That's what's extra frustrating about it is it has nothing to do with the computer. The
Right.
computer, the computer has all the capability in the world to run just about any program. It's just Lightroom being
Yep.
Lightroom.
That's why I said it, because Lightroom just loves to do random things like that. All right, man. We're coming up on 3 minutes. I'm gonna give you a little bit of extra time due
Cool.
to some glitches here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the extra time too. And Kyle asked, "Is this Barclay Villa by chance?" And it very well might be, Kyle. I've actually never shot there, but after seeing this, I really want to. It's very cool looking.
I'm gonna try my best within Lightroom to clone this out and see what we get.
All right, you just let me know when you're done. How about that? This is a fun, cool image I'm having. I'm just kind of playing around right now.
Cool. I'm gonna do one more. Give me 10 seconds and we'll call it good.
Okay. I know we've already broken our time barrier, so it's whatever at this point.
Seriously, Lightroom's frozen on me again though. So
Jason said that he is pretty sure that he's seen every possible Lightroom glitch, and I bet so.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. I'm good with this now. I can be done.
Cool. Share your before and after real quick.
All right. So before, after.
Cool. All right, let me stop this timer here. All right, so
If
I'm gonna.
I,
Go ahead.
yeah, I was just gonna say if I had a little bit more time to play with this, I'd make sure I'm cloning out those light stands a little bit cleaner. I only cloned out the one, and then I feel like I'm a little bit too crunchy on the contrast. So I would maybe soften that up just a bit,
Right.
about like that. But
Cool deal. All right, so I'm gonna show you guys mine real quick. So flipping over here, let me get out of this screen. Close. Now my Lightroom is glitching. It rubbed off on me. All right, so here is my after and then my before. So just like Jared, I did the transform tool, which really brings this to life. I actually used auto and then cropped. So I'll come down here and kind of show you guys. If you go off, and there we go. So that's what it looked like before, and then after. And I also used Crush, and what I actually did was I used Crush HDR, and then I burned down the background a little bit. Not quite as extreme as Jared. I wanted to still be able to see the crowd and see the lights in mine. And then I went back over with with another brush, and I went over the fog. And what I did with that is I actually just used a regular old brush, and I tweaked the white balance of that fog. So what I did is, if I click here, you can see what I did. I brushed all over that area, brought the white balance down to about -56 to have some contrast in the colors, that blue on that orange. And then I also increased the clarity on the overall image a little bit from what Crush was. I feel like the clarity, if I had a little bit more time, the last thing that I was going to do was actually do the clarity in here on the fog, just to kind of make it look a little bit more grungy, a little bit more punchy. So that's pretty much it. It's a really cool shot and a cool venue. So nice job, Ray. Thank you for submitting that. And Jared, we're starting to get some comments on who's
good.
winning.
Yeah, it looks like you won. You won that one. I think I would tend to agree. I'm gonna default it to the glitches. I think if my mouse was working a little bit better, if the Lightroom was working a little bit better, I wouldn't have had the same struggles I had.
Yeah.
I ended up closing out, Chad, all of my Chrome tabs because it looked like all of those were causing. Well, I don't know. It was taking up too much of my memory, so I closed everything out. So I'm gonna let you watch that carefully.
Okay, sounds good. All right, man. Let's move on. So we've got about 5 more photos to run through real quick, and we're doing good on time. We've got about 15 or so minutes left. So
Cool.
the next photo is by Melise Hartman. This is really
I love
cool.
this one.
This is beautiful. I'm guessing this is
We
somewhere
ready?
in LA, which is, I just don't know where. So Marlies, if you're watching, let us know where this was. This is a cool little spot. Jared, you're going to share your screen. So here you go, and I am
I was
ready.
just sharing, wasn't I?
Yep.
Wasn't I just sharing?
Oh,
No, I was just
yes,
saying,
you were.
wasn't I just sharing? Isn't
Yes,
it
you
your
were.
turn to share?
Sorry, sorry. We'll share mine now.
I don't mind. I don't mind sharing. Just let me know so I can talk through my
Too
thought
late.
process.
Too late. I've already switched.
Okay.
All right. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
And three, two, and one. And I actually didn't say how long we're gonna go on this one, but let's go about 2 minutes on this one.
First one done gets to call it.
Okay, that works.
What was this shot with?
All right, I'm gonna do modern HDR on this one. Okay, so I'm gonna bring up the exposure quite a bit, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a burn highlights brush radial filter around them to kind of bring that natural vignette down to them. I'm actually gonna just drag the exposure down a little bit there. And I'm actually going to narrow this down even more, just to kind of really bring in a little bit of that exposure to them. So boom. Next up, I am going to crop in just a little bit. I'm going to see there's a lot of negative space down here, so I think what I'm going to do is bring that up to about there. And then I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to do nature and color pop as a radial filter, okay? Probably would do this as a brush typically and go around the couple, but just for the sake of time real quick, we're gonna do that. And honestly, man, this is a great shot. I might bump up the clarity just a hair. And I'm gonna zoom in here. This is lovely skin tones and tones in this one overall. Honestly, wouldn't even change the white balance or anything.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
I honestly think I'm good, man. I can't really think of anything else to do.
Yeah, I'm done.
Could
This
be
was a
kind of
clean,
crazy.
easy shot.
Yeah, this is beautiful. And Marlise says that it is the Houdini Mansion. Houdini Mansion.
The what?
Houdini Mansion.
Houdini Mansion.
I
Cool.
don't know where that is, but
Yeah, this is.
it's very cool. Very cool. I'm gonna switch back over, and I didn't show my before and after. So before, maybe. There we go. Before and after. So really just kind of playing on those tones and drawing focus down to our couple. And then Jared,
I
you
think
got something
we.
pretty similar, right?
Yeah, I think we're pretty similar. Very similar crop. Just there's a lot of. It seemed like negative space down there below that wasn't adding to the image, so I cropped that out. I played around with the. Oops, I played around with the crop just a little bit, whether I wanted them center or off. I settled with them being just slightly off center, and then I cropped in on the top as well, just to kind of just to pull in and just be a nice close shot. And then I did the Crush Soft Light was my initial preset that I applied. I pulled up the exposure until I was happy with what the exposure looked like on the skin tones, and then I did a radial around them and dropped the and burnt basically all around them, and then did the same thing where I did a nature color pop, and then I went into the HSL and just played with the greens just slightly. And if I had a little bit more time, I would probably still do that. I'd probably take the greens and yellows and the hue slider and play around with it just to get a little bit more punchy greens.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's my edit right there.
Awesome, man. Cool deal. Well, you finally got
Let's do
some
it.
love here. Miss McCabe
Oh,
says,
cool.
Jared, she prefers yours, Jared. And then Marlise said that it was Houdini's house in Hollywood. So that's very cool. Very cool. And we lost your
Ooh.
camera feed again. I'm gonna have to show you how to. I'm gonna have to show you how to hook up your Ecamm.
No, this is like I told you. This is the first time I've used Cam Link, and I
Right.
thought I had the camera all set up for it to stream.
It's all good.
I mean, I assume that since it's streaming, I assume that the camera would know that it's activated and being used. I mean, if you're recording video, it doesn't shut off. So I'm confused at why it's shutting off right now. But whatever, I'll go into the settings, live and learn, I guess.
All right, man. Well, cool. We're gonna share your screen next on Melissa Parks' photo. Okay. So this is the grad shoot here. All
Cool.
right. Let's see. All right, there we go. So we've got some unique lighting going on here. We've got some hot spots in this shot. So show them how you would eliminate some of these hot spots.
All right. We ready to do this?
I am ready, man, and we're gonna go try and do 2 minutes on this one, and we'll
All right.
count down in three, two. Well, you can go ahead. Just go ahead.
We good? Good, good. No, I haven't gone yet. I was
Go
I
ahead.
was trying to consider which preset I want to do. So initially I'm going to do the modern hard. And then I'm going to just drop that exposure. So often when I'm editing and I'm using my universal exposure, I drop that until I'm happy with how it looks on the subject. And then from there, like was mentioned, got some harsh highlights still on the front of his outfit. So I'm going to play with those highlights and drop those. And then I'm going to take that contrast as well. And I'm going to just tweak that just a bit. Now I'm pretty happy with how the exposure looks on the subject. I'm going to adjust my crop so that things building whatever behind him is relatively level. I'm trying to eyeball this, but I don't want to lose the top of it too much. Actually, I'm going to give up on that. I'm going to crop it a little tighter and not worry about losing the top of it because it doesn't look like I can salvage it at all.
Right.
Then I'm going to do a radial around him with, again, I'm going to do the burn radial, and I'm just going to put that right over his face. I'm not going to put over his whole body like I typically would, just because, again, his shirt and his outfit has so much of those highlights that are burning it out. I'm going to not only drop the exposure, but I'm also going to drop the highlights with this radial. I'm going to hit my O so that you can see where it's being applied. And I'm going to play with the feather just a bit and just make sure that it's being applied right where I want it. And then if I was really finalizing this image, I would go into my sharpening. Anytime I'm doing the exposures, I'm going to play with my sharpening. And as you guys, if you hold down the Alt tab while you're sliding around the sharpening mask, it's going to show you exactly where the sharpening is being applied. And I only really want this to be applied on him and on, the edges of him. So I'm going to pull that mask almost to 100% and then tighten that up.
Perfect.
And yeah, I
I'm
think
glad you
that's about
showed
it.
that sharpening trick. That's one of my favorite tricks, to see where you're sharpening that image and being able to just do the edges and whatnot with the mask. Love it. All right,
Cool. I'm
man.
done. You done?
Yeah, I'm trying to get my photo to zoom back out before I share my screen. It's
And let me tell you
now
something
mine's
that I'm
frozen.
really struggling with this edit. So I really went back and forth between full length. I know obviously the photographer intended it to be full length,
Uh-huh.
but I contemplated doing oops, I hit the wrong button. I contemplated doing
Yeah.
just a crop like this as well. I think you
Same
could
here.
go either way.
I looked at it, and just overall the resolution is what turned me off on there. On trying to
Yep.
go in that much. So
Yeah.
I left it as a vertical shot here. Um, so yeah, I kept the same kind of composition there, and did some similar things as far as I did a burn radial over his face. Then I came in here with another brush and did just a burn highlights right over the center here to try to bring back some detail in all of the spots that were already a little bit overexposed, like right here in the sky, and then down here at the pillars. Ultimately, it was shot just a little bit too hot to be able to bring down all the highlights. So I just wanted to mention, if you're in a kind of a splotchy scenario like this, where you've got highlights and shadows kind of all over the place, and try and shoot and expose for those highlights, because you can have a little bit more detail to pull out in the shadows in a shot like this. So I would try to shoot for the highlights, and just bring the overall exposure probably down about another stop or a stop and a half or so, and that would help with this edit. But overall, I was still able to pull out quite a bit here in his shirt. And then to top things off, I
I
actually
like
just
that.
kind of added in a cool little sun flare. Just thought it was a subtle little touch to help um, warm up the image and bring a little bit more attention to his face. So basically, what I did is I used a radial filter, and I used the Visual Flow sun flare tool for this. And you can see I put it outside of the image there, and have it feathered out to about 100 right here. And then that just gives kind of a natural looking sun flare to the shot.
Yeah. Make sure you are reversing the radial though, right? Or
Yes, so let me
or
click on it real
inverting it or
quick.
whatever.
So yeah,
Do
right
you
here under
do you
feather.
always use the radial for your sun flares, or do you ever use the graduated filter?
I personally just always use the radial. I'm a big fan of
Yeah,
radials, and it's
yeah.
just, it's quick and easy, and you can feather them out. And
Yeah, I like that. I think that's a good way to recover some of the kind of lost interest there in the sky. I wasn't really overly concerned about the loss in highlights there, but I the one on his like on front of his shirt, I worked on a little bit, but it
yeah,
couldn't be fully recovered. That's for sure.
yep, cool deal, man. Let's see if you can fix your camera real quick, and I'll switch over to the comments here. Elise said, "Great job, guys. She'll have to share her edit with us later. Please do. We'd love to see what you came up with." And then Evan said, "The sun flare works perfectly on this one. She loves it." Thank you guys for commenting. We appreciate you. We've got just a couple more photos here. We're coming up right on an hour, so let's finish out strong. Let's try and knock these three out relatively quickly.
Do you want me to mess with the settings real quickly on the camera, or just keep flicking it on and off?
Just flick it on and off every few seconds. We're almost
Okay,
done.
cool,
All
cool.
right, so the
Yeah,
next one was Tanya, and
love this one.
this is a sweet, sweet photo right here. Almost looks like a subway or sewer or something. I don't know what this is, but it's cool.
I think it's
All
just
right,
a sidewalk, and then she's
it
reflecting with her
probably
phone.
is. It probably is. I just wanted it to be a subway or a sewer because engagement photos in
I'm pretty
the
sure
sewer.
LA doesn't have a subway. I could be wrong, but no, I don't think there's a subway in LA.
There isn't, but she travels.
Like Ninja Turtle style, like the giant sewers.
Oh man.
Cool,
All right, let's
cool,
do
cool.
it.
Let's give
In
this 2 minutes.
2 minutes. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, so I lost my mouse. I don't even know where I want to begin with this. It's just a sweet, sweet photo. So I think I'm gonna try. Let's see. So a lot of times I actually use the hard light when using off-camera flash like this. It just helps with the
Hmm.
highlights on our subjects, and then I just pull up the exposure a little bit more. And so I think that's probably where I'm gonna land with this. I'm just gonna do a quick auto white balance and see where that gets me. Overall, that's pretty good, but I kind of like the warmth in this image, so I'm just gonna bring up the white balance just a little bit more, and maybe a little bit more. And I'm gonna bump up the magenta just a little bit. There we go. Cool. I'm gonna try and work on, we've only got 2 minutes, so I need to remove this
Yeah, you got to get
human
going,
light
dude.
stand really fast. Really fast. There's so much I want to do to this image, but I don't have enough time. So here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna leave it on the hill brush and see what that gets me. It's pretty close. I need to fix this part right here. So I'm just gonna brush right back over that with the spot removal and manually move that around a little bit. And then there's one little spot right here. And we've got less than a minute already. Oh boy. I'm
Get
gonna
with
come
it.
in here and I'm gonna dodge his face just a little bit. Come on, computer. 30 seconds, 30 seconds. My Lightroom is all of a sudden just really slow. So I'm gonna blame it on the
I
glitches
cursed it.
too when I lose.
I cursed it on purpose.
Awesome. All right, 10 seconds, and I'm just gonna go crazy real quick and do a graduated filter to bring up the highlights, and I'm gonna crank down the white balance one more time and just do something kind of crazy and off the wall. All right, Jared, here's my before.
All right.
And here's my after. One thing that I definitely wanted to do that I didn't have time is I wanted to take away the shine here. So just real quick, just to kind of show you, you can use that spot removal tool one more time. You probably have to manually adjust it because of where these bricks are. But you can use that to kind of take away the shine on the wall as well. But you can literally remove a person and fix all of that stuff right there in Lightroom without having to pull it into Photoshop. But yeah, overall, this is a really cool image, Tanya. I probably would also do a transform and just try to line up, make sure the lines are all straight in the bricks and everything. But overall, I'm pretty happy with this. I think it looks pretty cool, and I'm digging it. So Jared, what you got?
All right, go ahead and share mine. So it's very similar. So Gosh, I wish I had a little bit more time to work on cloning out that subject, but I cloned out the light stand and that glare on the wall, and just let Lightroom choose the replacement. And then I did the initial preset that I applied was the Flash Crush. Then I built the nature and color radial around them, and then I took the temp of that and cooled it down. And I did kind of a long oblong shape one, so that that kind of whole area where they're standing wasn't heavily affected. At 100% feather. And then I took the graduated filter and drug that up from the bottom and put it right on that where the reflection line would have been, and pulled up the exposure on that as well, so we could see that reflection a little bit clearer. And
Yeah.
yeah,
So we
and
had
that was about it. I think I dropped the contrast a bit as well.
Yeah, we had very similar ideas there. We just went for a little bit different with the white balance. Basically, is what the differences were there. But I
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that you went with the blue there as well. That was cool. And speaking of Tanya, thank you for submitting, Tanya. She says, "Hi guys, thanks for editing this," and she loves the different edits. So Tanya, glad to see you on
Cool.
here. We miss you. We miss you so much.
Yep. Miss
Hope
you,
you
friend.
hope you guys are doing well with the new little one. All right. And let's see, who do we have next? We've got two more images. We've got
Lockley.
Lock Lee. There we go, and we're gonna share your screen, correct?
Yeah, if you want to.
All right, let's do
You
it.
want this is a
Uh,
clean, easy shot, ready to
yeah,
go.
let's do 1 minute on this one.
And
This is great.
yeah, this is another JPEG too. But yeah, ready? Go ahead and start timer and tell me when to go.
All right, and three, two, and one. Perfect.
So I'm going to take a look at the Crush soft light and see how I like that. Totally dig it. Works for me. I'm going to just work on the angle just a little bit. I'm going to drop the exposure just a teeny bit. I'm going to create a nature and color radial around her face. Like that. I'm going to drop that exposure just a hair. And I'm going to just very lightly decrush the skin tones just a bit there for her.
All right, you got 20 seconds, man. 20 seconds.
And the only other thing that I would probably do is I'm going to go into my HSL. I'm going to grab saturation, grab one of these yellows, pull that up to make it pop even more. Grab my luminance, grab these yellows, and make them really pop and stand out.
All right.
And let's play with
Time is
HSL.
up.
All right.
All right.
Something along those lines.
Cool.
All right,
Let's
done.
see your before and after real quick.
Okay. Before, after.
Awesome.
Nice,
Just
easy,
nice.
clean shot. Not a lot to do here, and it's a JPEG file, so I didn't. You have to be somewhat ginger with the adjustments, or else they're
Not
going to be
JPEG. That's
a little
RAW.
bit too.
It's a RAW.
Oh, was it? Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
CR3. Yep. You're
Why
good.
was I thinking this one was a JPEG?
Maybe your profile's not showing up on this one.
Yeah, they're not. And what camera is it shot with? That's probably why.
Yeah, it must be like a newer. I don't know, maybe like an R5 or something, R6.
Yeah,
And you just don't have your updated profiles. I don't know.
yeah, that's probably it.
Anyways, here is mine. I'll show you a quick before and after. So I went for a little bit darker of an edit here. And what I did to get that right out the bat, I did modern backlight. So instead of doing a soft light where it kind of brightens everything up, as you see, I went with backlight to kind of darken everything. And then I pulled down the highlights just a little bit around her. And then I went in actually with the spot removal tool, and you can see where it didn't fine tune it. But there was a little red light behind her that I eliminated real fast. And then the last thing that I did was use the quick dodge and lift to just brush back over her and bring in a little bit more exposure to her. So that's kind of our before and after.
Love it, love it.
Quick
Usually,
1 minute.
Chad, when you are editing and you are choosing your exposure, are you usually adjusting your universal exposure to match like the skin tone, how you want it in the couple, and then burning down the area around? Or are you typically setting the universal exposure and for the scene and then dodging up the subject? Or do you go back and forth?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked because I actually I do it both ways. It just kind of depends on the image, but I find myself actually typically adjusting the overall exposure and then dodging and burning
to
the
match
couple to match.
the skin tones of the subject
Yes,
or to the scene. Okay,
to the scene. So I'm kind of adjusting that exposure slider mostly for the scene, and then I know
gotcha.
that I can bring back my couple a little bit with the dodge, the quick dodge and
Yeah,
lift tool, or just a regular dodge tool. That's
love it.
just kind of how I like to edit. I don't think there's really a right or wrong way to do it. Whether you're
No,
adjusting for the skin tones first and then burning the scene, or adjusting for the overall exposure and then dodging for the couple.
I
I think it
almost
just depends.
always adjust my universal exposure, my sliders for the skin, and then burn down or change the scene. I find that this, for me at least, the scenery is a little bit more forgiving. It seems like with brushing than
Right,
the subject can be. With the subject, you have to be pretty darn precise. With the scene, you can be a little bit sloppier and quicker. So
right,
that's why I do it the way I do it. But I, like you said, you can achieve the same results either way.
right. All right, guys. We are coming up on our final image by another lovely ambassador, Lali Rico. Love this shot. This is really cool, kind of peeking
So do
through
I.
the
I
greenery. All right,
Yeah,
man.
I do too.
So
Ready to do this?
let's do it. Let's finish off with a minute and a half or so, and
Okay,
I'm
easy.
ready when you are.
Who's talking through this?
I will do mine. You did the last one, right?
Okay, yeah, that
All
sounds
right.
good.
Cool. All right. Three, two, and one. All right. So I'm actually going to start with a crop instead of the preset. I'm just going to bring it in just a little bit, kind of do a center crop. Part of me wants to do more of a rule of thirds. I feel like the scenery, well, let's just stick with this crop. I like this crop. I feel like you can't go wrong with either one, but I'm going to see, now this is a backlit shot, so typically I would come in here and use the backlit, and it really kind of punches, I'm just going to show you guys. Let's do the backlit real quick, and then this is kind of what Jared and I are talking about. I'm setting the ambient exposure first, and then I'm going to grab the quick dodge and lift brush, and I'm going to kind of brush back over our couple here and bring them out just a little bit more, right over their skin tones. And then we're going to use Jared's trick of doing the auto mask, and I think I already have that selected. So there we go. Auto mask is selected, so when I hover over this, we should be getting just over them a little bit. Alright, so overall that looks pretty good. I'm going to come up here and kind of play with the white balance. Only got 15 seconds. And I'm just curious. I want to see what a black and white looks like too. Because you honestly can't go wrong with color or black and white on this one. But I am going to leave it color. And we've got a minute and a half. You know what, Jared? I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to make a virtual copy. And I'm going to compare a couple of presets real quick. So I'm going to do.
Is it something you often do?
Not necessarily. I just want to kind of show everybody at home the variances and some of the presets.
Cool. Dig it. Oh,
So
come
I'm
on.
gonna do
Lightroom
one
just
more.
froze up on me again.
I'm going to make another virtual copy, and then I'm going to do soft or backlit pastel. Just so you can kind of see the different edits here. All right, so real quick, if you're looking at the screen, I've got pastel. I have mood. And then I have modern backlit. So you can kind of see the tones shift with all of these. So you get three completely different looks depending on which way you want to go. I really, honestly, love the mood edit on this one. Again, it's not typically, our style or my style, but I love the way it looks with these golden tones in this one. So tell me what you think in the comments. Which is your favorite out of all three of these? We've got pastel, modern, and then I know that Jared's doing crush over there, so we're gonna see what he comes up with. What you
Yeah,
got, Jared?
I'm messing with. Oh goodness, drop that.
We're looking at your screen now, just so you know.
Oh, cool. No, you're fine. You're fine. So don't do anything too stupid. What I'm really trying to do is just pull out the strong blacks on their faces just to make them really, really define. It looks like there was maybe a small leaf or something that happened to be over her face just a little bit. So I would likely go in some of these strong colors, just make sure that they were really
Yeah,
popping.
right on.
So that's what I'm doing with kind of the clarity and the dehaze just a bit. But we're done, right? This is this
Yeah,
is this
we're
is kind
done,
of
man.
where I landed.
This is great.
So
And
this
what was your
obviously
base?
has
What was your
warm.
base?
My base was I did hard light crush.
Okay.
Then I did a radial around them with the nature color pop. Then I pulled down the exposure on that and warmed it up so it could even make the leaves even more orange and gold. And then I went back and I was really, if I really had the time, I'd probably decrush the skin tones just a little bit and see what I could do to even them out throughout, especially just right there in that immediate area where their faces are coming together.
Right.
But yeah, overall this is awesome. This is pretty darn close. Maybe another 30 seconds and I'd be finished with it, I think.
Cool. Awesome, man. We'll reset your camera real quick one more time, and then what we're going to do is we're going to close this out. And I just want to say, real quick, special thank you to everybody that submitted photos. We love doing these live edit videos and live videos. Jared runs all the SLR Lounge Facebook groups, and he does live interviews all the time. So be sure to check out his videos. Here in the Visual Flow Lightroom group, we do live edits all the time and do interviews with our ambassadors. And it's just a really fun way for us to connect with all of you, do some fun tutorials in a live, live stream environment. And we just appreciate you tuning in and kind of spending your time with us today. And we've got Jared back here. Yeah, man, that was fun. Thank you for joining me, Jared.
Yeah, this is a lot of fun. I think we should do this again.
For sure, for sure. Do you have any live videos coming up in the SLR Lounge group that you want to announce?
Not for this month. I think everything else for this month is all scheduled out and
Okay.
good to go. But always keep an eye in the groups. There should be at the very top of each group a calendar for each month where you can see all of the live edits and interviews and conversations that we're going to have. I think this is the last one for the month of November. But definitely keep an eye out for those calendars each month. Also, you guys, it's Black Friday this week, right? And SLR Lounge and VFlow, right? They both have some
Yep.
pretty big sales going on. So you can see how powerful these presets are. The longest edit I think we spent was 2 or 3 minutes. Not a single one did we spend more time than that. And that's pretty normal. Most of my edits, I think all of these photos that we edited are all kind of more grand portrait type photos, but most of my edits, I'm using these presets and they're just taking seconds, really quick. So definitely go check it out. Go take advantage of the sales that are going on right now.
Yep. Yep. I think you nailed it, man.
Cool.
Alrighty. Well, we're going to close this video out. Do y'all have any questions or comments for us? Drop them real quick and we can answer them. But like I said, thank you again for joining us. Love seeing all your faces come through on those comments. And hopefully you learned something or picked up some tips and tricks, whatever it may be. Hopefully you enjoy our little banter back and forth here. But yeah, as always, thank you again. And we should have a dance party to close out. No, we're not doing a dance party.
This is how we're going to end it.
That's how we're gonna end it. I forgot who we did a dance party one time to end the video. I can't remember who it was. I think it was Tanya.
All good.
Oh man. All right, guys. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you joining us. Take care. Have a good day. Happy Thanksgiving, or whatever it is you celebrate. Happy holidays, and take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye.